What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Off-Duty Pod. This is the midweek bowl. Today I'm gonna smoke some Squadron Leader out of my Maximus. This is the Missouri Meerschaum pipe I got when we went to the Missouri Meerschaum factory museum. So I'm gonna load up some of this. If you guys are smoking with me, grab your stuff, get locked in. I tell you, this week feels long already. I don't typically, unless something needs to be moved around, I don't work Mondays. And I work Tuesday through Friday, maybe 10s. And I actually shoot this before Wednesday because with work and getting home late, it wouldn't get dropped until it's 10 o'clock right now and I'm able to start filming. So it wouldn't get dropped until late Wednesday. So today is Tuesday, and I just said I work Tuesday through Friday, and it already feels like a long week. It was one of those days where like you sit down at the end of the day and you're like, man, I felt like I was running all day long, but you also don't feel like you got anything done, but you do. But I'm gonna sit down. The wife is making some tea, so I'm gonna do some tea and just kind of hang out before we go to bed. And we're rewatching Longmire right now, so that's kind of cool. So maybe we'll probably watch some of that and drink some tea. Cheers. So if you watched my last video, or if you didn't, I was sick last week. Pretty much all weekend, and it's been lingering even today, so getting over chest stuff. I had kind of a scare this weekend. I was so congested that I lost my smell and some of my taste, because a lot of your taste has to do with your smell, your ability to smell. And I sat down to have a pipe. I'd been sick, hadn't had one. I said, I'm having a pipe, and I could not taste it very well. I think that was the video I shot, and I just couldn't taste it very well. Was that right, babe? Mm-hmm. My wife's in here making tea and stuff. I couldn't taste it very well. It was still there when I shot the video. I could still taste it a little bit, but it just wasn't fully there. Well, I had another pipe later on the next day, and it was the weirdest experience I've had. I lit it up, took a draw, it entered my mouth, and it felt almost like nothing was there. I don't know how to explain it. It was almost like there was a cloud in my mouth with no flavor, no scent, nothing. I blew it out of my nose. Couldn't even feel it pass through my nose or my sinuses. It was so weird because I just could not. I could not taste it or smell it. I opened up some of my most potent jars of tobacco, things that just have really strong smell, like Twilight's Call, Autumn's Evening, Chocolate Mousse, really strong smelling aromatics. Could not smell them at all. Stuck my nose in a jar of cayenne pepper, red pepper flakes, couldn't smell it. My wife put a essential oil of like peppermint practically up my nose and couldn't smell it. The reason I wasn't freaking out thinking, oh man, I got COVID. I've had COVID, especially when COVID first came around. I had COVID 3 times. And it was pretty rough. At one point, I was out for 3 weeks, lost like 28 pounds, and it was bad. I had to go get a blood transfusion. Got through it, whatever. And COVID now, I just imagine it's like a normal sickness now. It's like the flu or a cold. So I wasn't like freaking out like, oh, I got COVID, but I was freaking out because I couldn't taste. And I thought, what the heck? Like, I'm not going to be able to smoke a pipe. Like, I still smoked one. Smoking it with no flavor or sensation or scent was very weird. I was just doing it for the love of the game at that point. But I very much would have continued pipe smoking if I couldn't smell it or taste it. But it would have been very different, and I'm grateful to be able to taste it and smell it again. The first bowl back I had that I could actually smell, and when I realized I could smell and taste, I want to say was Twilight's Call. And then I had something good. I don't know, it was nice though, it was real nice. I was picking my strongest flavored and scented ones to just really get back to. The squadron leader being what is this, a red Virginia red? How do they say that? Cavendish? I don't know. This is a really good one too. But we had our 20-year anniversary, like when we got together, we talked about that. She had something planned for me, my wife did, a surprise. Ended up going to a local theater and seeing a musical play of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Bolt Thief. That was really cool. I don't know if you guys don't know what that is. He's like it's like Greek mythology. They were like kids' books, but Disney did a live action TV series on it. The second season just ended, and we watched it with the kids. It was really cool. I read the books when I was younger, but we went and saw a play, like a musical of it. It was really good. That was a good surprise. blowing stuff everywhere. That was a good surprise, though, on her end. I'm really grateful for that. I'd like to know how you guys' weeks are going. Like I said, it's be Wednesday when this posts for the midweek bowl. Your guys' week's feeling super long, like mine. Anybody sick out there? Without going too much into personal stuff or stuff about work, I don't know if you guys have ever worked for somebody that you don't respect or you don't have, I guess, any faith in. That can be real rough. I'm grateful right now that I'm not in that situation. I actually, quite opposite. I'm not going to say what's going on, but things have been challenging lately, and my boss has a motto, like a saying. He says, "Go do good," and I really like that saying. Just go do good. And really seeing somebody's true colors and character when other people are out bad mouthing and really trying to tear somebody down, and the person they're doing that to is saying, "I'm not going to participate in that. I'm not going to speak ill on them. I'm going to be cooperative. I'm going to be above board, and I don't wish them any harm. My heart is not geared like that." That's the sign of a man right there. And I tend to sometimes want to be petty right back. Like you throw a punch at me, I want to throw one back at you. So that's been something I'm kind of going through. I don't know if you guys ever had any life lessons that just kind of clicked. You're like, that makes sense. Really learning that just because somebody's running their mouth doesn't mean you have to. I also learned a life lesson within this last year or so. About letting stuff go. Not holding on to stuff. Because that, like I said, that's something I struggled with. I'd let issues and events live in my head rent-free for a long time, and realizing like I don't have to let this keep affecting me, So it's a good blend. It's funny how you get older and you start reflecting on things. Some of you guys are probably like, "Man, we already know all this," but yeah, not letting people live in your head rent-free. Letting go of things. I found that certain things that I bother me, I look at and I'm like, okay, let's look at this. Let's take a step back and look at this peacefully and like level-headed. I start to look at it and wonder, like, why does this bother me? It doesn't affect me at all. This whatever the situation is. But for some reason my brain is stuck on like, no. And sometimes there's a time and a place to be bothered by things, but that's something I've been learning actually, and it wasn't like a hard hit, like nothing crazy happened or anything. It just something I just kind of been slowly learning, and it didn't take much for it to click or whatever, but I apologize if you hear the noise in the background. Our laundry room's over here to the left, and I don't know if that's the washer or the dryer. Something's doing work in there, so. It's real nice. I got the window open back here behind this curtain. It's pitch black out there, so I have the curtain shut, but because you would just see a bunch of reflecting. But the window's open, and it's probably, I think last I checked it was like 58 outside. But it's like 60 is such a weird temperature, because sometimes you can go outside and it'll be like a hot 60, and you're like, man, it feels pretty good, feels pretty warm. I start moving around, I'm gonna be sweating. And then sometimes you go outside and it's like 58 to 60, and you're like, it's kind of chilly out here. The wind's hitting just right. I need a jacket, And it's kind of one of those nights. Which I'm not complaining about. I like that. I got the window open back here, and it feels really good. Debating on opening our bedroom window tonight, putting like the window fan in, letting it blow air from outside in the room. That'd be nice. But I love nights like that. The day was pretty much like that too. It didn't get super warm, and the sun was out. So what little I was outside today, it was pretty nice, because you go outside and feel the sun, but it wasn't hot. Speaking of hot, this Squadron Leader, it does burn. It smokes very fast, but it doesn't burn hot. My bowl wasn't getting too hot. I like this one. We got 68 days left till our cruise. As if I'm setting and counting down, because I totally am. I got a counter app on my phone that counts down to the exact second. And sometimes I will watch the seconds go by, and then I realize that, now the minutes are going down. And then I think, it's going to be a long time. I need to quit staring at this. You guys cruise at all? Any of you cruise? What lines do you guys like to cruise? What is your piping experience on a cruise? Because I'm bringing pipes, and I'm nervous because I don't want to bring good pipes that might get broke or lost in my luggage. So I'm not going to bring, I wouldn't bring this. This is a pipe that if it got lost, it'd be hard to replace. Like I said, they may not make this next year. Well, now it is next year, so they may not make this. And what they have might be what they have. So, and each piece is different on this acrylic tip. So I wouldn't take something like that, and I wouldn't want to take a Peterson or a Salvinelli where it's like, man, these could get broken. Even my estate pipes, I don't really want to take, because some of those, like that check pipe I have, I've looked online, I can't find another pipe like that. And so I don't want to take a chance something like that getting jacked up. Maybe I'm stretching there. If you guys have been on a cruise and you're like, man, doesn't work like that, then ease my mind and let me know. But my plan is to take some Messeri Meerschaum pipes. Their Legacy, their Legacy series, I think is what it's called. They're like $10 to $12, and they're good pipes. They're good pipes. Take some of those and take some bags of tobacco, so I don't have to worry about a jar traveling, because I'm not sure if they're going to let me take a jar on the boat or not. From my understanding, you can't smoke in your room. I'm not going to try to smoke in my room. You can't smoke on the veranda or the balcony outside of our room. There's cameras. I'm not going to try to do that. It'd be really cool, but supposedly there's like a cigar lounge deck up top where you can smoke, and pipes are allowed as well. And I just think smoking on the ocean would be really cool. That's on my bucket list, I guess, for this cruise. Is the wind just blew through this curtain. You can probably see it rising a little bit. It feels so good. Man. So good. Yeah, if do you guys cruise? What line do you cruise? What boat do you prefer to cruise on? Do you take pipes? And what kind of setup do you guys take? That'd be something really interesting. I'd like to know. Started reading The Fellowship of the Ring. It's pretty good so far. They just met Strider or Aragorn at the Prancing Pony. Yeah, today has just been, man, it just feels like such a long day. It's Tuesday. It's my Monday. So let's hope that this week goes quicker. But by the time this is seen, it'll be Wednesday. So hopefully Wednesday went smoother. This is that midweek push, just kind of a break, slow down, collect my thoughts. It's almost like therapeutic for me to sit and ramble. This is definitely probably one of the most rambly videos I've made. There's really no point to it. Just kind of all over the place, but I appreciate you guys that stopped by, and hopefully you had a good bowl with me and just kind of felt like we were sitting on the porch rambling with each other. But Squadron Leader, like I said, it smokes fast, but it doesn't smoke hot. And believe it or not, this pipe is very big, but the bowl isn't very deep. It looks deep, but you got to think of where the shank goes in. So it's probably stopping about right there. Not very deep. This is a really good pipe. Big in the hand, feels good, but it's a pretty quick smoke. But it smokes good. And it just looks super cool. One of my favorites. I think I want to get. I don't think I want to get. I want to get a Dracula, a Peterson Dracula. That's probably on the list next. Those are super cool. I don't quite know which one I want to get yet. It'll be a bent. If you guys got some awesome Draculas, man, drop a photo. Comment, tell me which one you got. If there's some I should be looking at. I like the rustic finish. I don't want smooth pipes are cool. I'm not saying I don't like smooth pipes. I have some smooth pipes that I really like. They look the woodwork on them and stuff just looks really beautiful. But I like more of like a rusticated or sandblasted, something with some texture. And something that's not super uniform, and maybe it's uneven or whatever. But I know I want a Dracula and I want a bent, so we're gonna look. I'm gonna be looking for those, and just for him carries them, so that may be a big factor as well as which one is in stock versus me having to order one. So, and I'd like to do a P-lip. I want to get into a P-lip. So, and I could be wrong. I don't know if Peterson does system pipes that are Draculas or Draculas with P-lips, but that's what I want. So maybe you can help me out, make a good decision there. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Let me ramble. I do. It's nice sometimes you sit back and reflect, and you're like, man, like life's all right. Today was a long day, but life's all right. I got a good woman, good pipe, good healthy kids. I probably should have came before the pipe. I'm looking forward to things in my life, like our first cruise with me and my lovely wife. I work for an individual that I respect, and I work with a lot of really good guys, and that's something to be grateful for. Just the fact that I'm working, because there's times when I wasn't able to say that. I was looking for a job, earlier in my life, so it's just a big blessing. So, this day's felt really hectic and long, but then I sat down and I kind of ramble, and now I'm like, I got a lot to be grateful for. So, being able to reflect back on being grateful. And sirens. So, window open, I have sirens. But it's nice to be able to also look back and just be like, man, just as a person, I've grown myself, with letting things go, and, just learning that you don't always have to react. Learning that just because somebody's listening does not mean that they are your friend. That was a life lesson too. But yeah, so if anything, I appreciate you guys that stopped by just to hear me ramble and kind of do some reflecting. I didn't know that was going to come out of tonight, but this bowl needs reloaded. Like I said, it's a pretty small bowl, and I didn't pack it super tight, but because wife was making tea, I think she's about done with that. So I appreciate you guys. God bless you guys, and stay lit.